single dad walked away after failing the interview. Then the CEO came running after him. Daniel Brooks stepped out of the interview room with one sentence echoing in his head. "We'll be moving forward with other candidates." He forced a smile, thanked the panel, and walked toward the elevator. Inside his jacket pocket was a folded note from his 7-year-old daughter, Emma. "Good luck, Daddy. I know you can do it." He couldn't bring himself to read it again. After losing his carpentry business while paying for his late wife's cancer treatments, Daniel had spent 3 years taking temporary jobs just to keep food on the table. This maintenance supervisor position was his last real chance at stability. The elevator reached the lobby. As Daniel crossed the polished floor, an elderly janitor lost control of a cleaning cart. Buckets crashed, papers scattered, and a heavy toolbox slid across the marble. Business executives simply walked around the mess. Daniel didn't. He dropped his backpack, gathered every document, and noticed one wheel hanging loose. Pulling a small screwdriver from his pocket, he tightened the bolt in less than a minute. The old janitor smiled. "Didn't get the job?" Daniel chuckled sadly. "No." "You still stopped to help." Daniel shrugged. Someone had to. Neither of them noticed a woman watching from the glass balcony above. Margaret Lawson, CEO of Lawson Structural Group, had just left a board meeting. She hadn't heard their conversation, but she had seen enough. Most rejected applicants left angry or embarrassed. This man chose kindness instead. Curious, Margaret asked Human Resources for his file. The resume looked ordinary. No degree, no corporate management. Employment gaps. Rejected in 11 minutes. Then she opened the attached references. A community shelter director wrote that Daniel had rebuilt an entire children's playroom after flood damage without accepting payment. A church pastor described how he repaired furnaces every winter for elderly families. Every recommendation mentioned the same thing: integrity, compassion, leadership. None of it had been discussed during the interview. Margaret looked at the HR director. "Where is he?" "He already left." "Find him." Meanwhile, Daniel reached Emma's elementary school after receiving a call from the nurse. His heart raced as he entered the office. Emma smiled weakly from a chair, an inhaler resting beside her. "I'm okay, Daddy." Relief flooded his face. She handed him another folded note. Even superheroes have bad days. Before Daniel could respond, his phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Brooks?" "Yes." "This is Margaret Lawson, CEO of Lawson Structural. Could you return to our office?" Daniel frowned. "I already know I didn't get the job. I believe we made a mistake." An hour later, Daniel walked back into the building, expecting another interview. Instead, Margaret took him through the maintenance department. She never asked prepared questions. She simply watched. Within minutes, Daniel noticed a loading dock door scraping against its frame. "The top hinge is bent," he said. "Replacing the motor won't fix it." Maintenance workers exchanged surprised looks. He was right. Moments later, an apprentice accidentally dropped an expensive laser level. The young employee turned pale. "I'm sorry. I'll pay for it." Daniel picked up the tool carefully. "When I was 25, he said, I ruined a customer's entire kitchen because I rushed." The apprentice looked shocked. "What happened?" "I admitted it." The young man nodded and immediately confessed the accident to his supervisor instead of hiding it. Margaret watched the entire exchange. People trusted Daniel after only 15 minutes. That couldn't be taught. Back in her office, she slid a contract across the desk. Daniel glanced at the title, Director of Facilities Culture and Operations. His eyes widened. "This can't be for me." "It is. I don't even have management experience." Margaret smiled. "You've been leading people your entire life. Our interview simply failed to recognize it. The salary was higher than he had requested, full health insurance, flexible hours so he could care for Emma. Daniel's hands trembled as he signed. 6 months later, employee turnover had dropped nearly 50%. Workers stayed because Daniel learned every name, fixed problems before they became complaints, and treated apprentices with the same respect as senior managers. He even created an emergency family leave program after sharing what it was like caring for his wife during her final months. One afternoon, the elderly janitor returned to visit. Daniel greeted him with a hug. "You changed my life," Daniel said. The old man laughed. "No, son. You changed it the moment you stopped to help someone after believing you'd already lost." Years later, Emma would tell people the story in a single sentence. "My dad wasn't hired because he had the best resume," she smiled proudly.